So, when I wrote the script, I was sick. With COVID. There's like 27 typos from coughing and sneezing, and I don't even fucking know what the other one is, probably just me being an idiot, but sure luck. This thing has already taken me, like, in the script it says 3 days. It's taken me like a week and a half longer than it should have. This video was meant to be out so much longer ago, and because of COVID, just fucking me over. The entire schedule is behind. God even knows when the Yone video is going to be out. But anyway, Twinks, am I right? A lot of you were asking in the Kane video why I don't have crop top, or asking about the lack of crop top or anything of the sort. 1, shut up. 2, I just don't own one. I'm so sorry to disappoint. But anyway, for what's in the title, Heartsteel Ezreal, by far my favourite skin out of the entire group. Am I a little bit biased? Yes. However, I just love it. I think this design is genuinely amazing. Usually I'm more of a big jacket fan, as you can tell because I use True Damage Echo, but honestly, the fucking massive pant that we've got on Ezreal over here is amazing. I love it. He's fucking great. This skin's beautiful. It's amazing. 10 out of 10. Not a 10 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10. I do prefer his other legendary skins, but this one is still absolutely a banger, so good shit, Riot Games. But now, I'd like to welcome you all to an Irish review of Heartsteel Ezreal. Ezreal, like I did mention in one of the really old videos by now, is one of the members that I'm actually pretty decent with, and I do like to play him quite a bit. So I've got good news about the gameplay in this one. You're not going to be tearing your eyes out. And along with that, while researching this video, I discovered that Ezreal passive isn't actually called Ezreal passive. Who knew that this thing actually had a name? Rising Spell Force, Ezreal's passive, gives him stacking attack speed every time his abilities hit a target. Doesn't matter if it's a minion, a champion, a tower, a monster, your mother, anything, it will give him a stack of attack speed. 10% stacking up to 5 times. That's it. That's his passive. It's a weird lethal tempo thing. Instead of it just being auto attacks, you just have to land abilities. And honestly, it's probably like the most brain powered part of the kit. You can easily tell if it's someone just on Ezreal or an actual fucking Ezreal player, purely based on the fact that they keep this passive up as much as they can so that they actually have the attack speed to be weaving in autos between all their abilities. Basically, if you want to make full use of Ezreal, make sure you get full use out of this passive. Because the one thing that no one wants is the Ezreal who stands 12 years behind the entire team, throwing out Qs which only hit half the time, if you're lucky. Speaking of which, Ezreal Q, Mystic Shot, is the bane of my existence because of you goddamn ADC players. Ezreal fires out a straight line skill shot that does a pretty good chunk of damage and applies on hit effects. And this thing may as well just be an Ezreal player's goddamn auto attack because it's the only thing you ever see them use. I please God, Ezreal players, just use your auto attacks. Weave them in. Please! I'm not asking for too much here, I don't think. But now, despite my grumbling, this is still Ezreal's primary source of damage, and much like his passive, the difference between a good Ezreal player and someone just playing Ezreal because they don't want to die is entirely based off this. If you can hit your Qs, you'll play well as Ezreal. If you can't hit your Qs, play Ashe, please. Ezreal's W, Essence Flux, is Beyonce's favourite ability because if you like it, you can put a ring on it. Anyway, after being sent out, this ability will latch onto whatever enemy it hits first, be it a champion, tower, or epic monster. Now, by itself, this ability is absolutely useless unless you manage to hit it with any form of damage from Ezreal, which will cause it to explode for a pretty good chunk of damage. And I would like you all to take a look at the AP ratio on this thing because, AP Ezreal, everyone. Ezreal Z, Arcane Shift, is why pretty much everyone plays him when they're auto-filled ADC, despite the fact that they cannot play ADC or Ezreal to save their life. Essentially, this ability is just flash. Ezreal just has another flash. He just has flash on a basic ability. It does a little bit of damage. It'll send out a bolt towards whatever enemy is closest, prioritizing champions or prioritizing enemies who have Essence Flux on them. And that's pretty much it. Once again, this does have a pretty hefty AP ratio. So if you're running AP Ezreal, you're pretty much setting off a miniature nuke. That's actually kind of putting it lightly. You're just setting off a nuke if you land your W on someone because they're just going to explode immediately. Pretty much no questions asked. Ezreal is called the safest ADC for a goddamn reason, and it's this ability. It's the only reason we play him. It was the only reason I started playing him. I only got good at him when I was like, God even knows how many points in I got to a point where I was like a passable Ezreal player. I was genuinely just playing him so I wouldn't go 0-10 at the end of lane phase. Like that's what happens when we play ADC in Season 10. The only other reason someone will play Ezreal if it isn't for this ability is if you're someone who I've got blocked on Twitter because good lord I cannot even open my account in public if I end up following you. Ezreal's ult, Trueshot Barrage, it's just a global AoE projectile, that's all it is. Just global AoE projectile, does some pretty good damage. As you've seen with a lot of his previous abilities, this thing has pretty hefty AP ratio, and usually whenever I'm mentioning the AP ratios available on our champion, I'm telling you to not build the AP on them, but honestly, AP Ezreal is hilarious. Like, if Earth is ever the current game mode on offer, you need to play AP Ezreal like at least once in there, because it is so ridiculous and so fun. Just trust me on it, you'll have a good time. And along with that, Ezreal ult actually has some tech attached to it. It's one of the abilities where you can flash during the cast time and it won't actually end up affecting the ability. Think Lux ult as well. You can just flash, the animation will play out in a different direction, but the ult will shoot out from the original location. So, you can make 1, a very flashy play, and 2, this can actually be pretty useful sometimes. But genuinely, a lot of the time, this is just something used to flex. I think I've had like 1, 2, maybe 3 situations where the flash ult was actually needed. The rest of the time, it's just to look cool, if I'm being honest with you. Like I said earlier, Ezreal is one of the ADCs that actually made me a semi-decent ADC player. Well, ADC is never my first choice for a role, I am always in the jungle. Whenever I have to be put there, I'm probably going to be playing Ezreal, because 1, there's only one of my support main friends who I trust to keep me safe, and 2, I just don't want to go 0-10 if the enemy assassin finds me on my own. Like, if any other ADC, the odds of me dying are a lot higher compared to with Ezreal. And honestly, I would say Ezreal is the hardest ADC to play. Sure, you've got stuff like Draven and Kalista who are extremely difficult, but I think Ezreal honestly comes out on top of them just because of the amount of skill shots in his kit and the sheer difference between something like those Chinese Ezreal 1 tricks and some, honestly, like an actual pro player is insane. Some of the shit that they will pull is so terrifying that you'll nearly be mesmerized as you watch it. At the end of the day, Ezreal is a champion a lot of people like to play, whether it's for his safety, his flashiness, or his build. People love him, and he is one of the most popular champions for a goddamn reason. Which is also why his win rate is always below 50% at like 48% or something, and honestly, it would just be fixed if half of ye would just stand behind your front line instead of standing behind your back line. You'd leave me alone. That's me done for the day, and also we are coming to the end of the Heartsteel boys. Realistically, the Yone video was supposed to come out like this week, maybe early next week or something, but you know, COVID kind of made that go to shit. But either way now, the Ezreal video is here, the Yone video is going to be coming soon, the Hui video, and a video on Season 14, and I've got so much to make, but either way, I'm having fun doing this, so I'll make sure to keep on going ahead with it, and just going to try and keep on tipping away. So look, tell me in the comments anyway, what champions you want to see next. Preferably ones in the jungle so that I can return there, because I've been a little bit starved of that role recently. But sure, look, if you're still here, drop a like, drop a sub, all the usual stuff, and I'll talk to you next time, lads.